Welcome to the very first episode of Small Bites. On our channel, we'll be talking with lots of different experts on various topics that can really help small businesses to grow from a tech perspective, which I know is a little bit of a slippery slope for some because it's hard to know which things are going to make sense for your business and which ones are just extra costs without bringing a lot of benefit. So on this channel, we will have, as I said, experts on all kinds of different topics that will talk about the best practices for that particular technology, how to make it work, what to think about when you're shopping for one, and the like. Today, we'll be talking about investing in your future and what the heck is digital transformation anyway? So let's get started. Now, everybody's heard the phrase digital transformation, but what the heck does it really mean? So, digital transformation basically means any time that a business is looking to improve a workflow or a process through some kind of technology. So, that's pretty easy, right? Digital transformation can be anything from improving your accounting and reporting to make tax time easier. It could be putting in some kind of solution to allow for better customer service, like a CRM or outbound marketing tool, or it could be an AI tool that's going to help input your invoices so that there's fewer errors and it takes less time to do it. So all of these things are considered digital transformation. The trick, though, as we're going to talk about, is picking where to start because I'm sure, like every other small business owner, there's a lot of things to tackle, but budgets are limited. So we have to make our choices. We have to make smart decisions about what's going to be most impactful and most budget friendly at the same time. ROI, right? So today we're going to talk about digital transformation from that standpoint, like how to get started with it and how to make meaningful choices. And then as you continue to come back to our podcast channel, which of course you will, we will talk about different technologies specifically that will lead to that kind of transformation. So let's go. So what are some of the benefits of digital transformation? The biggie to me is operational efficiency. Most of my clients are small businesses too, and they're often still working with very paper laden processes, managing things in Excel, for example, or on yellow legal pads, that kind of thing. So it's certainly going to make those processes easier. And it also can enhance customer experiences. The more organized your business is and the more information you can pull up as needed, the easier it is to delight a customer, right? Not making them wait or putting them on hold to find their answer, that kind of thing. It also can allow for a more regular touch points because you have automation that's going to send out reminders for you versus all of that being hands-on. It also can help you improve growth. What could you do to grow your business if you had an extra hour a day or even a week that you're not spending fiddling around with spreadsheets? I bet you could put that to good use, right? It also can allow you to make better business decisions because you have information at your fingertips and you don't have to wade through a lot of disparate information all over the place in different files and different systems on your computer and that kind of thing. So it really can bring it all together into one place and give you some aha moments. And it also allows for stronger management. Again, if you're not being overwhelmed by a lot of manual processes, it frees you up your time to devote to other growth endeavors or supporting your clients and your internal employees and etc. So there's a ton of benefits to doing it. Okay, so we talked about the benefits of doing it, but what about the risks of not doing it? Believe it or not, you can lose market share. And you're like, oh, Brandy, come on. But think about it this way. If your competitor is able to crank out a proposal in half the time that you are, they're probably going to at least look better to the client and have that little leg up in terms of the review process. Um, Inefficiencies and errors. How many times is a client going to put up with your invoices to them being incorrect or late or payments applied into the wrong account? All of those kind of things are very real world examples of what digital transformation can improve. Um, I just had an experience myself. I won't say the vendor I was trying to reach, but I was trying to research a product for a client of mine, and I got bounced between 5 or 6 different people at that company before I could get an answer to what I thought was a pretty simple question. Um, and it turned out that the final answer was that they couldn't help me um, for that particular client. But that service could have been applied to some of my other clients, but I was so unimpressed with their organization. I could only imagine in the sales process, if they're that disorganized, what it was going to be like to be one of their clients who needed something. So these are things that clients are thinking about, and the more streamlined you and efficient you can be in your business, the bigger and more customer centric you appear. Not to mention, digital transformations and certain technologies make you safer, keep your data safer, and don't think you're too small to be hacked because in fact, most hackers are actually targeting smaller businesses with less digital and cybersecurity tools in use. So you want to make sure that you are rock solid on those aspects too. What are some of the areas that can be transformed digitally? Well, in our upcoming episodes, we're going to tackle a variety of these different topics. Some of them are more technical than others, but we're always going to strive to do no geek talk so that anybody with any kind of background in business should easily be able to follow along. Some of those things are cloud computing and storage and when it makes sense and for whom. We're also going to have an expert, I'm really excited about this one, to talk with us about SEO and marketing analytics because following along with that and making good decisions about your marketing and the search engine optimization of your website is hard to do if you are a solopreneur and can't afford a marketing department. So we're going to tackle that, don't worry. Cybersecurity insurance is something that if you do any kind of business on the web nowadays, it's highly recommended. And by setting your business up in certain ways, you can save a lot of money on the premiums and you can ensure a payout if you do get hacked. We'll also talk about backup and disaster recovery because even if you're a one person shop, or especially if you are, and your systems go down, you want to make sure you can get back up to business as quickly as possible so that your clients don't move on in the interim. I can't think of a single client I have nowadays that doesn't work in a hybrid or a remote mode at least some of the time. But the technology to do that can be really tricky, confusing, and expensive if you make the wrong choices. So we're going to tackle that topic. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence too. You've probably heard of that by now, right? But what it is, what aspects of it make sense for small businesses is a whole different story, and we're going to delve into that. Cybersecurity and zero trust is one of my favorite topics. I know I'm a geek, I'm sorry, but it is something that needs a lot of decoding, so don't worry, we gotcha. And customer relationship management, CRM, ERP systems, medical record systems, and all of these things are a big expense for any business. And picking the right one, implementing it properly, and getting the most use out of it once it's implemented is something that we definitely will help you with, because that is one of the biggest projects a small business can tackle. So those are just a few of the topics that we plan to cover, and we'll cover. So, once you've decided that you want to improve some of your processes and procedures through some kind of technology, how do you do it? What do you start with? Well, the best place to start is focusing on your business goals. As we said, you might have quite the long wish list of different things that you want to address in the business and improve upon, but it's not practical to try to do them all at once. Hence, setting those goals and then prioritizing how much each one can be impacted from some kind of transformation. And don't try to do this in a vacuum either. It's really important to bring other stakeholders into the conversation. Those could be your clients, your employees, your partners. Really sit down and have some spitball sessions about the kinds of things that could be improved through some technology, and get their perspective on that prioritization. And use some data. Don't, this is not the kind of thing to use your instincts on. Do some research, get a good sense of what the costs are going to be for different options as far as transforming processes, so that that helps you make your decisions too. And then choose your tech wisely. When I first started Rock IT, of course, I had to put my what we call a stack in place. So the different things that I offer and the different technologies I use to support my clients. This was a months and months long process for me. It started with setting some parameters about what I felt I would need in these different solutions, like great tech service and customer service, um, vendors that would scale with me, those that had the best reputations, all those kind of things figured into who I selected. And then I would clearly communicate with them, of course, and with my partner about what I was thinking, what he thought about them, and where we were in those processes. And then I know when I'm helping a client transform, we definitely use change management best practices. You don't want to throw too much at employees at once. You want to help them to understand what you're doing, when you're doing it, why you're doing it. Make sure that any training requirements are addressed and met, and go forward that way. It's better to go a little slower and steadier than to put something in place and have it fail from poor execution in the implementation phase. And you definitely, you'll hear me say this probably in every podcast at least once, but security first, right? Not every tech solution, believe it or not, in this day and age is actually as cyber secure as it could be. Or they're not cyber secure out of the box, and you have to understand what needs to be done to make it, say, compliant with HIPAA, or if you're a law firm, aligned with what the Bar Association best practices are and that kind of thing. And then I have bad news for you. Once this is put in place, it's not really ever done, because there's always enhancements that could be made, new versions that come out, or you may outgrow a solution as you take your business to the next level. So continuous improvement is something that you have to be prepared for at the onset. Sorry to be the one to tell you this, but there will be roadblocks when you're trying to improve any processes through digital transformation or otherwise. Some of them, as I alluded to in the prior slide, are data privacy concerns. I have a client that was using Microsoft 365 and OneDrive and was surprised to find that the way it was set up for them wasn't HIPAA compliant. So again, privacy first. See, I said it twice this time. And financial concerns. We get it. We're small business too. Sometimes you can find the newest, hottest, greatest tool and you want it really badly, but it just simply doesn't fit into your budget. And we get that. And you have to be prepared for that too. And also, there might be issues with your legacy systems. It's important in that planning process that you consider the technologies you already have or ones you might be adding in the future so that they all play nice together. That's not necessarily a given. So while you're setting those priorities, it's important to roadmap the whole thing out and keep in mind future projects as you are selecting for this one and vice versa. Also know the more, sad but true, the more digital you become, the more cyber risk you're taking on. If you are all paper in a filing cabinet and you remember to lock your office door when you leave, you're good unless you burned out. But if you're storing everything on the web, then that does invite some extra risk into your processes that has to be addressed. It's not a reason not to do it, it just requires that mindfulness. And then, of course, change is hard. You're already so busy. The thought of adding on something new to put in and learn and shop for, it can feel like a lot. I get that too. Believe me, I do. So that change resistance is a real thing and it must be addressed not only for yourself but for your staff also. Going back to that change management idea, um, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, sometimes things might be worn out but not broken and they do need to be fixed. So there is there is a process to getting everybody on board for that. That you know what digital transformation is and possibly have gotten your juices flowing a little bit about some processes and procedures that you can improve in your business, I want to share that it's not a one-time project though. It really does take a lot of forethought and planning, and it's best done as a roadmap versus a one-off project, if that makes sense. And chances are it's not something you should try to take on alone. There are lots of experts on whatever you are trying to transform. But again, with that idea of it being more of a big picture process, I would highly recommend that you try to find a managed services provider or a tech consultant near you that can guide you through these choices. It There is a cost associated to that, but the benefits are huge because if you're not a cybersecurity expert, for example, you may select a vendor, that new and shiny one that just seemed really nice on the phone, but then you find out that they aren't compliant with modern cybersecurity best practices, for example, or that you could find out that the top name brand of the solution maybe wasn't the right fit for your size business or how you wanted to use it. And you could actually overspend on the application or the implementation of it because you don't have a guiding hand on what questions to ask, or a way to set your priorities appropriately. So the takeaway is, please don't hesitate to get started with digital transformation. It's totally worth it, but maybe it's something you need a little help with. There's no shame in that. So this was our very first episode for Small Bites. I hope you found it useful. In future episodes, we will be having experts that we will be interviewing on those various topics. So please visit us often and see our new content. We'll be putting it up as super quickly as we can, as long as we can find the perfect SME for it and bring it to you as a high quality content. So thank you again. And if you have any questions, you can always visit us at www.rock-it.net, and there's a contact page there, or you can contact us here on YouTube. So thank you so much and have a great day.